beyond your reason, beyond your purpose. We want to let you know that beyond this fact that, oh, I just want to give my family a better life. Oh, I just want to, get opportunity to, I just want to get
Okay,
opportunity to
Grace,
get.
I'm ready to get started now.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Elder. You can go ahead, please. Thank you.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. This is afternoon, of course, here in Toronto, in Ontario, of course, in Canada. And my name is Elder. We apologize first for the delay. We just had to look for an appropriate location to utilize. The initial place we wanted to utilize was locked up, so we just had to look for a better location to sit out at. So as you can see, we're seated out somewhere at Starbucks, of course, a public place here in Toronto. And the whole essence of today's, public webinar and event is majorly to, there's this joke we crack in Nigeria where we say, show us evidence, show us evidence, show us evidence. Like, what exactly does ProconnectPAY do? How does it support candidates to acquire that global education? And of course, have we been able to do all of this successfully? So that's one end. Then, of course, the other end now is a different ball game, hearing about studying in Canada. Then, of course, now listening to somebody that is already in Canada, sharing their own practical experiences when, of course, it comes to studying abroad. So today's, webinar majorly would, we're going to be inviting two persons. One of them, of course, is physically here with me. The other person, Titi, she's in another part of town. Here, of course, in Ontario. So in Toronto, so it should be quite difficult for her to join us physically because that's part of the thing in Canada too. Transportation is not easily accessible, the way you have it in Africa, where you can easily jump cheap buses or cheap vehicles. So I'll be inviting Dayo. Of course, that's the way he wants us to introduce him for today. So, but if you probably hear his voice, some of us might obviously know him. You would have already seen him walk behind me just now. So he's one of our students that has taken our PGD to master's pathway here, of course, in Canada, as it were. Now, of course, beyond the fact that we have Dayo and Titi and some other candidates attending this Ontario College of Management and Technology, which obviously starts from your 1 year PGD to your 1 year master's. We have other candidates that are attending other schools within Toronto, as it were, Northeastern University, and of course, the University of Toronto. But for today, we're not going to be focusing on the specific school or college one is. We're rather going to speak to, okay, what is your experience like, prior to ProconnectPAY, and of course, how did that journey start? Then, now that you've got into Canada itself, can you share your general experience with us, when it comes to studying in Canada? What are the myths? What are the reality? What is true? What is not true? And, what should we expect, if we are coming to Canada on our own, to study, as it were? And, whatever it is, of course, that the both of them feel, we should also know, they would also get to share with us during the course of today's event. Now, when, of course, the both of them are done sharing, people can ask questions. Then we'll now wrap up or conclude, with, of course, explaining the way study abroad processes works, and, of course, how you can, of course, get on board into the ecosystem. So, boss, are you set? Okay, so I'll be handing over to him now. Like I said, his video will not be on because he's just trying to, he's humble, modest, doesn't want to show himself out there. So he'll be speaking, of course, whilst my video will be on from this very place where I'm currently seated. So Dayo, over to you. Let me make you a co-host so that you can now speak out. Okay. So yes, boss, you have the floor. Okay, okay, please verify that in this meeting.
Yes, she's Tiberi.
Okay, what's her name?
Tiberi.
Okay, let me know on WhatsApp. I didn't really hear you. Okay, boss, you have the floor.
All right, thanks a lot, Elder. It's nice to be here again. I think it's my third time. I don't know where to start from now, but I'll tell anybody that is interested that the first step for anybody to take, and I'm glad that Titi is here actually, because she'll say exactly the same thing. Titi actually, it's almost like the exact same steps I took was what Titi also did, which is personal research. So I'll just speak with Elder. Now, one of the problems people tend to have when they get here is we don't do enough research. We base our information or decisions on impulse or just taking steps that other people have done. Regardless, the most important thing is always research. So even before you come, you do your research, the process, the step you're taking, is it the right? And one of the most important decisions for you to take when coming here is the school you are coming to. So a lot of the schools, I mean, basically most schools here are DLI certified. So it means that Canada has apparently approved them. But there's something called PGWP, and that's a work permit. Not all schools give that. You need to understand, which is why I said you need to do your research. So you need to understand your own route. Some people don't need the PGWP to survive. Some other people need it to survive. When you get here, do you need the PGWP to continue working? Are you already in the express entry, which most people in the express entry, I don't really think they need the PGWP, because you schooling in Canada alone will give you an extra point. One of the cheat modes I think I've heard recently, and I've seen a lot of people use it and has worked a lot for them, is learning and speaking French. It's not as hard as we think most of the time. If you are able to add French to your profile, schooling in Canada, I mean, you are practically basically in. And I've seen that happen to a lot of people. So yes, it's a nice environment. I mean, I don't think anybody has had regrets for coming here, except I'll say, like I said, if you don't do your research and you just come here based on hearsay. Yeah, so basically I think that's all from my side. If there's any other question, please let me know.
Okay, so just a quick one before, of course, we delve into other questions. I would love for you to probably just share your journey. Let me say your customer experience journey with ProconnectPAY. If you remember, we're connected in Lagos sometime around September of 2022, and you had come in totally for a totally different thing. You know, you were probably planning to go to
actually.
You have said out that process already. You have gone far. So you probably could just give us that customer experience journey you had, of course, connecting with ProconnectPAY last year. And now, of course, it led you eventually to Canada in December of last year.
Yeah, so like Elder said, actually it was June. It wasn't September, it was June 2022. So I went somewhere hoping to, I mean, I was targeting UK. And then Elder took up the mic, and the way he was talking, like he's not organized everything there. And in short, everybody started listening, and I went to him. So that's like bring me back to my earlier point when I said research. I don't dwell on hearsays. So if he's here and he will confirm, I walked up to him. What most other people would have done was to register, sign up. I walked up to him directly. I asked him questions. I heard from him directly. And that was what, after talking to him, I said, you know what, I think this person knows what he's saying. Let's make this switch. It was a risk because it had never been done before. I think I was basically the first. It had never been done before. But we did it together. I listened. In short, some ideas I had, Elder would listen. I also listened. And I know that sometimes it might look as if it's difficult. But so if you manage people and if you have worked in a fast-paced environment, it's not easy speaking with several people at the same time. And sometimes you've dropped some informations, but because you have people that are not doing enough research or listening over and over again, before I ask any question, I want to do my research because I want to argue with you. And when you are giving me a response, you need to know what you are saying. It's basic. But imagine me just going into the group now and asking maybe Elder that, OCMT, are they located in Toronto? Anybody can flare up at that moment. Because why are you asking him? You yourself, you should have just checked. I mean, it won't take you anything. So I think it's one of the customer experience process was it was very okay for me. Like I keep saying over and over again, Okpeyemi was a very good factor. She made it so easy. In short, up till now, I still discover because I have a lot of people I've referred to through ProconnectPAY, and I have a lot of people that have come to Canada through ProconnectPAY. I know it's not our role, but I still discover up till now. Try to get her on board. Elder Okpeyemi and I can't remember the other lady's name, but yes, it was a very beautiful experience for me. It was easy. They sent materials. They listened to me. Even when I had all the ideas about certain things, we all go back, we do research, and then we come back to the table to see the best. And I mean, like I said, it was a risk we all took because no other person had done it at that time. And it sailed through easily. It was beautiful. It was a nice experience.
Yeah, and you know, just to butcher what he has said, he was actually the first candidate on the ProconnectPAY platform that actually got approved, you know, for Canada. And the funny part is, if you remember, when we started out this process, we didn't even realize you were going to leave in 2022 because you had already gone, you know, ahead with your plans for the UK. You had gone quite far. But, you know, I was able to convince him, okay, why not try the Canada to, you know, as an alternative plan? And, you know, like he said, one of the things I like about him is the fact that you don't expect to take on an academic pathway or an academic journey of this nature, and somehow you are not also putting in the most energy, which simply means that, you know, you have to read stuff, so you have to do your research, you have to try as much as possible to get information on your own. Of course, it's very good to seek counsel and to get insights, but there's some questions that ordinarily you would think that, oh, this person is a graduate, this person is a student, this person aspires to study abroad. You should be willing to do the work on your own. Now, it will tell you for free. When it comes to studying in Canada, the bulk of, you know, your education, the bulk of your classes, you take them online. And it's your lecturer or whoever it is that is probably your academic advisor would expect that you would have done certain level of reading, certain level of research on your own. So in ProconnectPAY, we are very big, very, very, very big on, you know, letting people know that you need to, you know, be willing to do the research, co-research with, of course, the manager, or co-research with ProconnectPAY, or co-research with the person that is, of course, wanting to onboard you into the ProconnectPAY platform. So for you know, he more or less validated the fact that, okay, it's possible for people to come into Canada, and of course, you know, with the support that ProconnectPAY provide, study it. So, Baba, just one last question before I jump to Titin. Generally speaking, you know, from your experience so far in Canada, you've been here since December of 2022. How has it been now in terms of the educational quality, beyond, of course, the school you are in, beyond the college you are in, beyond the course you study? What is the educational quality like, at least based on your interaction with different persons, different facets of the economy here in Canada? What is the quality like? Do you think a Canadian education is actually worth it for anyone, of course, that wants to, you know, study in Canada?
So to be fair, I mean, the Western world educationally, it's always better education in terms of education, basically because it's more, even when you are doing theory, it's almost like you're doing practical because it's a whole lot of projects, you interacting with lecturers, students, working together, not the Niger style of covering your textbook because you don't want someone to copy you. Here, it's more of teamwork, and that's what real life is really all about. Even if you have your business, it's teamwork. If you're working in a normal corporation, it's still teamwork. So, and I think that's one of the things they try to imbibe here. And apart from teamwork, the most important is what I also mentioned earlier: research. So here, they expect you to know a certain level, you know, to have a certain level of information. People here want to learn, they listen, and people here tend to mix. So if you're an extrovert, you tend to thrive better here, even though people are more, I'll say people behave like they're introverts here, but they like extroverts. They want people that you see, you talk, you can communicate, you can network. I mean, if you're someone who is good at networking, you would easily survive here. you have most of the informations are through networking. It's one of the reasons why the Indians here survive a lot, because they have informations they share with each other, they tell each other, they carry each other along, they do things for each other. So yes, based in terms of education, I'll say that. And I mean, what's most important than you schooling somewhere that you can go anywhere with certificates and you know that you will stand tall any day. The smallest, we know the way we all are generally. The smallest, even if it's a primary school you went to in Canada, and you go back to Nigeria and you stand out certificates, they'll still look at you as if, oh, you have done something great in life. So yeah, there's nothing bad in getting certificates. And if you have other plans, there's nothing bad in pursuing your plans. I mean, all our plans are valid, right?
Yeah, very true. Okay, so Titi, let's delve down to Titi. Titi, are you there? Okay, Titi, please, if you can probably unmute and put on your video if you are okay with that. Or if you're probably just fine with your audio being on, totally fine also. Okay, so Titi, of course, is also a ProconnectPAY scholar. In fact, I remember Titi also coming into the platform. Titi, was one of those candidates that, she would ask you questions like, she, of course, does her own research, but she's also asking, good questions. I'll put it that way. Very good questions. And, because of the level of energy and attention to details that she has put into her process, Titi also spent less than 6 months on the ProconnectPAY platform, from start, of course, to finish, and of course, getting a visa to resume here, of course, in Canada, as it were. So, Titi, you can also let us know, from the very beginning, how did you get to hear about ProconnectPAY? Of course, what were the steps you took, before you joined, of course, the ProconnectPAY platform? Then, how did your process pan out? And of course, leading to the point where you left Nigeria to resume here in Canada, as it were. So, you have the floor, Titi.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Titi Ogunaike. So before ProconnectPAY, I was researching on my own. I got admissions. I got like 2, 3 admissions into Canada, but I didn't know about the Empower sponsorship. So that is always, getting stuck. So I got in contact with PCP through some guy from the LASU CBT Center. And then even at that point, there was a little bit of like what's exactly going on, because I think they were doing it for business. They introduce you to the platform and then they'll say, let's help you look for a school. You pay this X amount. And, so I was a bit confused, like, okay, they've come again. So when I got on the platform and I followed it up by myself, like you said, I asked a lot of questions, some good, some stupid, really, because I wanted to know everything. I was just asking all sorts of questions. When I do my research, I come back to ask and all of that. So I got on the platform and okay, so then it was 25,000, and then I think I was one of the first that started paying 35,000. So I was like, why is it that these people have come again? So it was because I saw 25,000 being advertised, and then I wanted to pay, and then I was given a 35,000 naira invoice. I'm like, what's going on? Anyways, put all of that aside, I got on the platform and I followed up the process. Opeyemi was a very good tool for me. Kunle was awesome when I got to my Empower stage. So I mean, I go online, I read a lot. What do I need? What is expected of me for my processes by myself from ProconnectPAY, from Empower. So I did all of those, and here we are.
Yes, here we are. And of course, the here we are is, Titi successfully, getting a student visa and, resuming here in Canada. So Titi, let's now come to the Canadian part of your experience. Now, you're a student, of course, in Canada. You are also being exposed, to the Canadian educational system. You have been exposed, of course, to the Canadian economy. You have been exposed to the opportunities that exist. If one, of course, is able to access and acquire this education. So can you speak generally to your experience so far, as a student, as of course someone that has, settled down, acclimatized, and of course, your perception so far of the opportunities out there when it comes to acquiring, that global education post-graduation?
Okay, so I would say, everybody knows there's no gainsay about that Canada is sought after when it comes to education. It's not even just Nigerians. The millions of Indians here. At times I get on the bus. I'm like, am I in New Delhi or am I in? I have to double check. Like,
Yeah.
I would have to double check where am I really, because I just see Indians around me, and yeah. So
Everywhere.
Canada is not just like, it's being sought from all sorts of people all over the world, being sought after. So the opportunities are vast. There, when I got here, I'm sorry, this is how I talk normally. It's not because I'm in Canada. When I because people not which day she enter Canada that she don't date. This is I don't
You know
this
that
is how
somebody said it already, that Titi don't they
no.
speak for them.
This is how I'm sorry that this is how I talk. I'm sorry. No, no apologies, but this is how I talk.
No
So
apologies, no apologies. We love it.
I meet with that every time when I'm here. People, how long have you been in Canada? Yes, I just came too. So yeah, so there are lots of opportunities, especially after school. And we came in through a school that, when I say we, your guest and I, that so we came in through a school that does not have the PWG, so we had the co-op option, so that's granted us a work permit, and we're able to, work and proper jobs. God has been faithful. We're able to get proper jobs, not just students kind of jobs, so. And we're pushing on, we're enjoying it, we're having fun at the same time. When people come in, they buzz us, hey, I've landed, where can we catch up? Can we? Yeah. So I think it's a good opportunity for anybody who wants to pursue. Um, keep your head high, be very intentional about it. I would say I was intentional. I was really intentional. Like, this, I have to do. What is it that? And I think in the visa process, I think what is really important is making sure that your education and your career path aligns. You can't be a medical doctor and then have an admission to study law. Number one, Empower. That, from my experience, I think from the people I have worked with, Empower rejected me. Let me see your CV. Let me see what you submitted. Because we do that. We're not being paid for that, but we do that to, people who buzz us. Oh, I've just been rejected from by Empower. Let me see what you submitted. So I've noticed that when your educational and your career path does not align, from Empower you start having problem, and then through to the embassy. So I think it is very important that if you want to pursue a career in Canada, especially, you don't just switch. Something is not just selling. Oh, nothing is now selling, and then you switch from being an engineer to want to be a nurse. I don't think it will work with the Canadian visa process. So you have to make
Yeah.
sure that your education and your career path really aligns, and has a a followable history. If you're in banking, let's know that you're in banking. Let's know that you studied banking and finance, and then you want to do masters in management, and then something that would align, that would really make sense. I think that's like 60% of your visa process or procedure.
Yeah. In fact, Titi, thank you so very much. That was now the final questions I was obviously going to ask yourself and Dayo to speak, to your visa processing, because whether I would like it or not, I was telling someone yesterday that getting approval for the loan, getting admission to the school is the easiest part of this particular journey. Is the easiest part. Getting admission is quite easy. Once, of course, there's an alignment between your work experience and the course you want to study. Getting approval for the loan is also very easy. Once, of course, you're applying to a commercially relevant course, you do not have a bad credit history, and of course, you're applying to an approved school that the Empower and of course our partner gets to fund, you will get approval easily for the loan. But the hardest part of the work is usually getting the visa. And just like Titi already mentioned, there has to be alignment between your work history and of course the course you want to study. So we get this funny question. Some people, I want to switch from banking and finance to healthcare, because somebody already bubbled you that healthcare pays in Canada or healthcare pays somewhere across the world, or you want to probably switch from you're a banker, you suddenly want to switch to cybersecurity, but you have no prior experience at all. These are the kind of factors that determines people that are either get a visa or of course eventually will not get a visa. So Titi even said 60%. I can tell you that it's even 95% of the time, because the two other factors, getting your loan, getting admission, very easy, straightforward. The hardest part, and of course the part of course that determines all of this, is the visa. Even if you have funding of your own, even if you have your admission, without a student visa, you go nowhere. And at the end of the day, all of that effort and energy would obviously be wasted. So let me just jump back to Titi just one more time. Titi, just give us a little holistic overview of how you went about writing your statement of purpose, arranging your documents. What were the little extra steps you took, and of course how many days did it take for you to get your approval, or for you to get feedback on your visa application? So when of course we're done with you, then of course Dio just gives us his concluding explanation on that particular question.
Okay, so my visa procedure was carefully thought out. Though I have a rich travel history, it wasn't so hard for me putting together my statement of purpose, and of course I have an IT career in Nigeria. I have a registered company that I've been running with a partner for over 10 years, so I had all of those. And being able to put it all together, because even if you have all of those things and you are not meticulous and you are not intentional about putting it all together, one could still fumble. So I was careful about putting it all together step by step. I talked about my travel history, talked about my work experience, talked about my personal life experience. Like one of us, was trying to put in, and then he begged me that I should please let him read my statement of purpose. I insisted I was not going to, but after, I just said, okay, no problem. When he read it, it came back to me, even even if that visa officer is a crazy person, he would approve this thing, because I put in personal experiences, good, both good, bad, my life experiences, my academic life, my travel history, what happened in one of my trips when I traveled, everything. It was about 7 pages. It was like I was writing a book. I was just so carried away writing everything and not telling lies at all. So I was able to do that with my was a statement of purpose. Then when it came to the visa application itself, I used the new portal. Though I was a bit skeptical, what should I use, the old or the new, or so eventually I just decided I used the new portal. I did it all by myself. Got the letter from PCP. It was a very rich letter from PCP. I also aligned my statement of purpose matching onto that letter as well. If PCP says, oh, they're going to support their candidates, I'm like, okay, I also have a startup that PCP is going to support for me. Like, everything just, started coming together. And then in terms of the finance, from all I've been saying, I think my money has been the smallest that Empower approved, really. It wasn't so much money, and then from my own end, I worked on my bank statements, put it all together. I worked on my registered company, put it all together. And then I said, with a lot of prayer and fasting, I submitted my application. And then it came out, I think it came out in 5 weeks and 2 days. It was the longest 5 weeks and 2 days of my life. I was every day, I wake up and check my email, what's happening, what's going on, so, it was really interesting. And eventually when I got it, I started preparing. Some hassles from the school getting me my letter of enrollment, but that's just by the way. So, so I started preparing for my trip, got here with the support of people that have been here already. Mr. Dayo was a very good support, so settled in, started applying on the work job website, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, got something almost like immediately. And then I started and I settled in, and and it's been wonderful.
Wow, excellent, excellent experience. Okay, so Dayo, you have the floor.
Yeah, so I mean, like I've said over and over again. So I've
No,
seen people
Dayo,
who have
focus
come
on
here.
your visa process.
Yeah. So people who have come here, I've seen people who have come here who all they tendered was their Empower loan. Not they didn't even have Jack in their accounts, which brings me to focus on your SOP. Titi already mentioned it. So like a US visa interview or in Canada, nobody's going to see you, right? Your documents is only going to support whatever you have written in the SOP. So some people have so much documents, they bring their great grandfathers, properties, everything. But if your SOP is just I want to go and study and come back, then there's nothing to support. So your SOP is the most important. You need to explain exactly what you're doing, why you want to go there, what your intentions are, both while you are here and when you're done from this place. I mean, one of the most important information is letting them understand that you really don't care about staying longer than you should. They want you to sound proud, sound like you're ready to leave anytime. And I think that's one of the things that has really helped a lot of people. So, like Titi has basically covered everything. Make sure that your SOP sounds as reasonable as I was talking to someone recently, like Elder mentioned. He said some people have a background in banking and finance, and you want to study health. It really doesn't make sense. So over here, one of the things they really cherish here is certifications, right? You can actually, as a banking, someone with banking experience, you can come here to study banking, but in the process, focus on getting a certification in your desired route. You understand? So, but you're a bricklayer, you want to come here to become a pastor, it's worrisome. It's like, do you have an agenda? Do you know what you want exactly? So like I would say, and I've said over and over again, focus on your SOP, do your research, understand what you want. Don't write. I've seen someone actually gave me an SOP to read sometime ago, and it was one page. And I mean, I don't need to be a visa official before I know that out of anger, I can even decide to refuse you because I know you don't have any ambition at all. So do your research. State what you want to do. State what you have. State why you made that decision. Your plans, like I said, here and after, and it's as simple as that. Actually, I think, in my own experience, I think Canadian visa is one of the easiest to get. To be very fair, I think once you have told them your story, I'm a boy, show them your certificates where you were born, that they actually said you were a boy. Fine. Um, I'm 30 years. Ensure your birth certificate carries your birth dates. That's fine. They're okay with that. Very, very little information is what these people look for. They want to know that you are sincere, why you're coming, and when you're leaving. It's as simple as that. And I mean, with God on your side, which is the most important thing, as long as village people are not there, you are good to go, and every other thing works perfectly well.
Okay, guys and ladies. So thank you very much, Titi. Thank you, of course, very much, Dayo. So of course, just to give a concluding remark on Canada. Guys, Canada is very cold though. So if you are coming here, just ensure to have a thick skin. Like me seated here without like some form of jacket. I'm freezing. That's why I'm taking hot tea. So even though you don't like cold, stay back in Nigeria. But of course, I know my Nigerians will say, Oga, you come back, make we come. We will stay in the cold like that. Of course, that's like the joke we usually crack. So, but extremely very cold. And according to my friends, they've even said that it's not even cold right now. Like this one, I'm feeling that it's cold though. It's not even cold at all. This is like baby's cold. That when the main cold comes, you have probably just wait till December. So it can get quite cold. When we saw a video of a lady that was crying some weeks ago on Twitter, that I probably don't know what the story of the cry was. She's probably lonely or feeling bad and down. So it can get that crazy, in a place like Canada. With the cold, the loneliness, the fact that you have to work, you have to study, and all of the plenty things. So the good thing, of course, is that just like Dio mentioned, you have to be someone that is willing to be outgoing. You have to be willing to make friends. I've been in Canada now for about 2 or 3 days. I can tell you for free, I've made so many friends. Even yesterday evening, I went to so many places to trying to also connect with, like my fellow Africans and from other with people from other places of the world. So it's quite important that you sharpen your social skills, you sharpen your your extroversion skills, and of course you have to be willing to know how to converse and communicate with other persons. So I think we'll call it a day from our own end. I'll be handing back, of course, to the team in Africa, Grace, and of course, members of the team for them to just conclude on our visa processes. Of course, when it comes to studying abroad, we know that there are 3 major layers. There's the loan processing layer, there's the admission layer, and of course, there's the visa support layer. So what does it take to qualify for the loan? How do we support you to get admission? But more importantly, how do we guide you in, of course, ensuring that you can actually get a student visa? My colleagues, will be taking on these 3 important questions in the concluding part of today's webinar. We totally appreciate every one of you that have connected. We've had this session majorly, of course, to show that ProconnectPAY, has successfully supported candidates to acquire, of course, the student loan and, of course, to resume here in Canada. I can tell you also that we have candidates in the US. By next 2 weeks, I'll be in the US to, connecting with candidates who fully funded, of course, to resume that, to acquire the global education in the US, as it were. So thank you very much to every one of you. From here, I'll be signing out. But yes, the webinar continues with, of course, the team based on, of course, in Africa, as it were. So, like I said, we'll be explaining the loan process, we'll explain the admission process, and we'll also explain our visa support processes. How do we help you ensure that you get the loan, you get admission, and of course, you eventually get, of course, that visa to enable you resume abroad. So my colleagues will be taking over from now. So Grace, you have the floor. Thank you very much, Dio. Thank you very much, Titi. We're totally grateful.
Okay, thank you very much, Elder. Thank you, Dayo. Thank you, Titi, for giving us your time, to explain your experience. So I would just be talking about our loan briefly, and then we'll be taking questions. So if you have questions, kindly drop your questions in the chat box. Kindly drop your questions in the chat box, and I'll take them. Just give me 1 minute, and I'll be back.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you, Abigail.
Okay. Just give me a few minutes.
Okay, so I can see Maxwell. Maxwell, you say how much can a person access for the loan? You can access $100,000 for 2 years, maximum of 50,000 per annum. And you say, is the process for singles alone or cover spouse as well? You fund the person studying. So if you want your spouse to join you in your application, we advise for you can apply for them separately, or you can, especially for Canada, you can get your visa first and then you request for them to join you. Okay, I want to enroll for September intake. Is it too early to start application this year? No, it's not. It's very important to start this year for fall. Most of them will be ending February of next year. So it's not too early to start. It's not too early to start at all. It's not too early to start. Okay, I think I've answered your question. I need more description on US visa process. So I would advise you to register first, become a member, and then when you get to the visa process, and I think the last session we had that was open, we invited our candidates that are in the United States. So I will encourage you, begin your process. When you get to the visa stage, you will be guided appropriately. Work experience aligned with the course you want to study, not your past course of study. No. What she means is the course you are going to apply for should align with your work experience. It should align with your work experience. It should align with your work experience. Do you understand? Let's say, for example, you work in sales. You shouldn't say, oh, I work in sales, but I'm interested. I want to do personal care job. Do you understand? It should align with what you currently do. Whatever you are going to study should align with what you currently do. You say you have admission, but my school is not among those you support in Canada. What are your chances of getting the loan? David? Okay. So, David, your chances of getting the loan, you won't be able to get the loan if we do not partner with your school. You won't be able to get the loan if we do not partner with your school. Do you understand? You won't be able to get the loan if we do not partner with your school. I can hear Titi and Dio talking about Empower Loan. What does that have to do with what we are talking about here? There is not Empower, but Empower. So it's one of our financial partners. Is it possible we put in application for US and Canada simultaneously? Yes, please. It is very, very possible. You can apply for the United States, you can apply for Canada. So what the people we have, like Titi and Dayo, they are from Canada. Do you understand? These are our candidates from Canada. Doesn't mean we do not accept candidates for the United States. I know it's always like this. The last time we held sessions and we invited our candidates from the United States, they were like, oh, is it just US? How about people from Canada? So we do this from time to time. Do you understand? We invite our candidates to, just come share their experience. Do you understand? Share their experience and insights. So we do this from time to time. Do you get it? So today's own is Canada. Tomorrow might be for the United States. Okay, how much does a candidate need from the start to departure apart from the study loan? So you will need, first of all, your service charge. First of all, our service charge is 138,000. 138,000. You have the option to pay 88K. That's like a part of it to begin your process. Once you get once you are ready to once you get the balance, you can complete for us to submit your application. So I'm trying to look at where I stopped. Okay. Yeah. So I've talked about the application fee. I've talked about I've talked about the service charge. Then we have the application fee. Depending on your school, it's usually between 50 to 150 Canadian dollars. Then after application, you've gained admission. Then we'll process the loan for you. If your school requires tuition fee deposit, it's also your responsibility. Then after the loan has been approved, you move to the visa stage. We require visa support fee of 100,000 naira. I wanted to say dollars. 100,000 naira in Nigeria, and if you're Ghanaian, it is 1,000 Ghana cedis. So indeed, for the visa processing stage, we'll admit you to the platform. We'll guide you on how to apply for your visa step by step, the right documents to submit. We'll also help you review your statement of purpose. You see, from the conversation, they had to pour their heart. I saw somebody saying, am I the one to write SOP? So for SOP, for your admission, we will help you prepare it. But for your statement of purpose, it's important that it's as personal as possible. Do you understand? It's very, very important that it's as personal as possible. You've gotten feelers from Dio, from Titi, that they were able to communicate from where she started from, everything. Like, she wrote the story of her life. Nobody will better write that story than you. So what we do is we'll help you review it. Do you understand? And also we'll guide you on how to answer visa interview questions if you're applying to the United States. Do you get? Okay. Does the program include undergraduates? No, we only do BSc top up. That is HND. You want to do a BSc top up, 300 level and 400 level BSc, we can fund that. So how much to start the process? That's the 138,000 I mentioned. How many months does it take for admission to come? out? So we submit your application in a month. So it depends on schools. It could take 2 weeks to 6 weeks. It could even take 1 week. So it depends on schools. So quickly, I'm going to, give a general overview. Some of us were just joining for the first time. We're still not clear about what ProconnectPAY, how we do our processes and all of that. So I'm going to take the next 5 minutes, give a general overview of what we do exactly, and then I'll come back to the questions. So if you have questions, please drop them. I'm going to come back to it. If in case I skip your question, you can also drop them again on the chat box. So ProconnectPAY, we provide international student loans to the tune of $100,000. $100,000 for you to study in. So we are big on the United States and Canada. In fact, when we started, we were having more go to the United States and Canada, and as well. Both States and Canada. Don't know, it does not. And the yes, where we come in, make sure the service is quite robust. We provide this robust service of admission processing, process of and if you do not have the process for them, will be action processing, we help so to get admission, your loan, processing the one and resume on you. Okay, so the interest on the 0.99% per annum, minimum 10 years to you want we had a session with our staff and the one of our candidates that has resumed on our school job portal, there are no menial jobs actually. You hardly see a job related to study. So every student is expected to work and to service the interest of the loan, and not pay back the loan. So guys, so through the visa processes. So that's time engineering we have over in the United States, I have 36 of them in Canada. So I should process candidates through.
I'm sorry, Grace. I think we can't hear you properly.
I'm not the maximum of so when you are having it's not ready to say for scholarship. So
Grace, we can't hear you. We can't hear you well.
So when you apply early, it gives you that opportunity. You get it gives you that opportunity to get. Okay, can you hear me now?
You can speak now.
Okay, give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Give me 1 minute. Can you hear me now? I know.
Yes, we can.
Since I was still connected to my phone. I noticed I was still connected to my phone. So just give me 1 minute. Let me do the switch. So please, you can still. Okay, so sorry about that. I sorry about that. So I'm just going to go over it again. So I'm going to go over the loan processing and I'm going to go over the loan processing once again. The terms and conditions that is very important we note. So like I mentioned, the interest rate is 12.99% per annum for postgraduates. For undergraduates, it's 13.99% per annum. I think Elder has pretty much explained, our processes for the admission. We'll help you prepare your statement of purpose. We'll help you work on your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and then we'll help you submit applications to the school. So for the visa processing, you should write your statement of purpose by yourself. We'll be able to help you. We'll be able to help you review your statement of purpose for your visa, but it's always important that you write it. It's your personal story. Nobody can write your personal story more than you do. Do you understand? So then after once you've gotten your visa, the loan is not disbursed here in Nigeria. It is disbursed to your school account. It is disbursed to your school account. So in the United States, yeah, we fund everything: your tuition fee, your living expenses, health insurance, cost of gadgets. We fund everything. Then, but for Canada, we fund your tuition fee and your educational expenses. We fund your tuition fee and your educational expenses. So educational expenses, if you need to get books, every fee that you need to pay to your school, we will fund that, but we do not cover living expenses in Canada. Generally, we do not cover living expenses in Canada. It's the reason why we always inform our candidates, please make arrangements for living expenses of about 10,000 Canadian dollars proof of fund for your visa processing. Do you understand? We'll provide the sponsorship documents for your tuition fee and educational expenses. This is for Canada. In the United States, you do not need to get any proof of fund. You do not need to get any proof of fund. So that's that about the loan. Please also note that we do not cover tuition fee deposits. We do not cover tuition fee deposit, and we only disburse once you've gotten to your destination country. We do not disburse while you are in your home country. Do you get? We do not disburse while in your home country. So I would go back to the questions. I'll go back to the questions. And so please, I might have missed your questions. You can drop your questions. Do you understand? I'll start taking them gradually. Yes. And before we move to the questions, I would love to tell us what are the next steps. How do I come on board? What do I need? Yes. A lot of persons ask us this question. What do I need to come on board? Basically, for your admission process, you need your transcript, you need your resume the way it is. We would help you revamp it to academic standard. Then you need to get some persons that will recommend you. We do not provide the recommendation because we do not know you. The people that know you are the best persons to provide recommendations. So those three basic things are needed for your admission processing. So some persons might say, oh, my transcript is still processing. Can I come on board? Yes, please, you can come on board. We'll start your application, we'll process your other documents. So once your transcript comes, we upload and then submit. We do not need to start all over again. Do you understand? So if your transcript is not available, you can still start while you process your transcript. If your passport is not also available, you can still start while you process your passport. So how do I start? Yes, we require a service charge fee of 138,000 in Nigeria. A service charge fee of 138,000 in Nigeria. In Ghana is 1,400 cedis. The rest of Africa is 180 cedis. I'm sorry, I said 180 cedis. Is 220 USD. Is 220 USD. But every one of us, I saw there were about 75 of us that is attending today's webinar. Every one of us that attended today's webinar, we get 5% discount. We get 5% discount for attending. So I would encourage you to go back to your to any of my colleagues that invited you to today's webinar. Tell them, oh, I attended, so I'm getting my 5% discount. Then if you're ready to pay upfront, you want to pay the 138K upfront, you want to pay the 1,400 Ghana cedis upfront, you want to pay the dollars upfront, you get extra 10% discount. You get extra 10% discount, making 15% discount. So instead of 138,000, you get to pay 117,300. instead of 14 Ghana cedis, you get to pay 1,190 cedis. Then instead of the US dollars, I'm going to confirm, I think it's about $180 that you get to pay when that percentage is removed, but I can easily calculate that. So once you are paying upfront, you get that 15% off. So, but we also have the option of you paying in installments. Yes, you can pay in installments. The 138,000, you can pay 88,000 first, and then you balance up later. You can also pay maybe at least 900 cedis first, and then you balance up the 500 later. Then in USD, you can also pay like 120 cedis, 120 USD first, and then you balance up later. So once that is done, balancing up later means that we will start your processing. And you will first of all engage with our academic counselor. After you've engaged with our academic counselor, your course of study, your country of interest, the academic counselor will recommend schools for you that is mutually agreed by both parties. Once that is done, you get a letter of intent, and then we'll start your application. So if you paid upfront and you get the 15% discount, we will start application and then submit. But if you pay installments, we'll start application, but won't submit until you balance up. Do you understand? So that's basically how our payment works. So I'm going to, for the third time, I'm going to go to that. Please, if you have questions about any of the sessions you do not get, you can drop your questions. I'm trying to scroll up as further as possible so that I do not miss out on some of the questions. So you said the schools, so I'm starting from 7:14. If you dropped a message before 7:14 and I've not answered it, please, you can redrop, guys, you can drop your message again. The schools that you're connected to, are they the ones that are allowed to study behind? If you're talking about designated learning institutes, yes, in Canada, yes. Our partner schools, they are designated learning institutes. I have a BA in history. I have 4 years of work experience, human resource management. Okay. I have 4 years of work experience, human resource management. I want to study PGD to masters. There is an opportunity for you for the PGD to masters. You can do courses like enterprise resource planning first, and then you go ahead to do an MBA or human resource analytics. You can. So what's the current membership application fee? It is 88,000 for membership. Then for the service charge, including for us to process the admission for you, it is 138,000. Yes, I know you heard when she said, oh, it was about 25, and then she came in, she found out that it was 35. So guys, it has changed now, but during their time, we do not process admission for candidates. Do you understand? They come in with 35,000, we guide them through the process. Do you understand? But now we process admission for our candidates, so it is 138,000. How long will it take to repay the loan? And will I be able to work while on the loan? Ruth, you will be able to work while you're studying. Post-graduation, you work. Maximum tenure for the loan is 10 years. You can choose to repay in less than 10 years. It is fine. What is the requirement for your registration? So I think I have mentioned that basically the service charge is 138,000. You have an option of paying in installments. You can pay 88,000 and then balance up. Or you can pay once and then you get the opportunity to get the 15% discount. Is the loan going to be paid into the person's account before going? No, the loan is disbursed to your school account. Is Kent University among the school you support? I'm going to confirm that. I think so, but my colleague will drop the list of partner schools for you to confirm. What's the success rate of visa approval for United States? It depends on candidates, sincerely. Another person's success rate does not determine whether you will get it or not. Please, I did microbiology, but I've been working in real estate industry. I want to study biotechnology in Canada. I hope it's possible. So It depends on how long you've been away from microbiology. I think you would have to engage with our academic counselor, Chisom. Engage with our academic counselor. Let's know. But if you have a good grade, it's possible. I won't say it's not possible. It's very, very possible. You really need like work experience and all of that. My name is Jeremiah Bitrus. I'm interested in studying in Canada, but I don't have fees to pay for ProConnect. Can I give a land for collateral? We do not require collateral. And the fees you are paying is not for the loan. The fees you are paying is our service charge to help you process admission and to admit you to our platform. Do you understand? You do not pay anything for the loan, and the loan does not require collateral. How do we pay back the loan? You are expected to work part-time to service interest while you're studying. When you graduate and get a full-time job, you begin to pay back. What's the success rate of Canada if I have to come with family? Like we always advise people, go first and then request for your family. I won't say, oh, this is the success. We don't even encourage you. Go first and then request for your family to join you. For Canada, do I still need to do WES, IELTS for PGD? No, you don't. For PGD, you don't. How much will it cost in Naira from start to finish to do the project with ProconnectPAY? So I can't give an exact figure because we do not know the school you are applying to. We do not, apart from our service charge, we do not pad up any other system. We give you, when you get to that stage, we give you the amount at the current rate. So, but I'm going to give you a breakdown. Apart from our service charge that is 138,000, you might require application fee between 50 to 150 US dollars or Canadian dollars, depending on the country you are going to. After that admission, the loan is processed. You do not need any money for the loan. Then your school might require tuition fee deposit. It's usually between $300 to $1,000, whether US or Canadian dollars. They might. So some schools require, some don't. Do you understand? So it depends entirely on your program and your school. So after that, your visa fee is usually between 500 to 600 USD or CAD. Depending on it, you can verify your data on their website. Do you understand? You can verify this. If you can, make more research. They talked about doing your personal research. You can make more research online as regards that visa payment, which is paid to the embassy. Do you get? So that's like basically it. Joy, I hope you can hear me now. Emmanuel Sunday, I hope you guys can hear me now. Okay, you said my line is breaking. Oh, so sorry about that. I hope you guys can hear me now. I hope you guys can hear me now. Okay, so please, can you prepare a brochure guideline for area network? Is Ajayi, if you can retrace with your question, it will be nice. I studied science, laboratory technology, but I have work experience in banking system. Which course option do I do? You can apply for banking system is better. Where you have your work experience, that's what counts more. Can you help me find a school for May 2024 PGD business accounting? 10 years, yes. Our partner college in Canada, Ontario College of Management and Technology, you can do a postgraduate diploma there. I have a school already. How can you help? If you have a school, my colleague will drop our list of partner schools. So you confirm if it's part of our partner school and supported course. I don't know if I mentioned our supported course. I don't know if we fund science, technology, engineering, mathematics, business, health-related courses. So if your course is among our supported course, we'll be able to fund you. Yes. Can you find someone that already has admission in you? Yes, who can fund you if it's our supported course and partner school, we will be able to fund you. We'll be able to fund you. What's the condition for taking the loan? How much loan for family of 5? We do not fund family. We only fund the person that is studying. I have admission in USA. Can you get a loan? Yes, Nana. If your school is part of our partner school, you can get the loan. For September intake for 2024, what month of next year should I start processing? Ruth, you should start processing now. That's the honest truth. You should start processing now. Give ample time for visa processing. How much does it cost for? Okay, I think I've answered this question. Do you charge separate money from membership? Like I said, our service charge for the admission and processing is the 138,000 if you are in Nigeria. If you are in Ghana, 1,400 cedis. If you are in the rest of Africa, across the world, it is 220 USD. So apart from that, our other charge is at the visa support stage, where we charge 100,000 naira, 1,000 Ghana cedis, and then I think I'll have to get the amount for $80. So will I get work while studying? Yes, you will get work. Do schools in Canada accept GRE? Yes, they do. Can you give us a round figure of your service charge? If you're in Nigeria, it's 238,000, but you are only required to pay 138 here in Nigeria. Sorry, you are only required to pay 138,000 now. What about processing with family to US? We do not process with family. We encourage you to get there first and then request for your family, especially US. In fact, for US, would advise you to, it's on case by case basis, really. But the general advice is that get there, study, and then you request for your family to join you after you've graduated and gotten a job. But in Canada, you can anytime request for your family to join you. Okay, my colleague has dropped the list of schools. So for those asking for the list of schools, my colleague has dropped them. So you can check, especially for the guys that, you've gained admission. Do you understand? You've gained admission to a school, maybe in the United States or Canada. Please just confirm we can fund the school. Once you confirm that, you do not need to pay 138,000. You are only required to pay 88,000. Please note, you are only required to pay 88,000 for that, and then we'll move ahead. Please, I studied human resource management. Can I study? So Emmanuel, if you are applying for human resource analytics or MBA with a focus in HR, we will be able to fund you. But for human resource management, we do not fund. So Ruth, I think you should engage the person that chatted you up before giving you that's my colleague's contact to meet up in the office. So Ruth, engage with the person that chatted you up. Which school in Canada offer the PGD to master? So you start with Ontario College of Management and Technology, and then you finish up with any of our partner schools in Canada. Do you understand? Any of our partner universities. Emmanuel, human resource analytics will be funded, not human resource management. I hope I have answered your question. Human resource analytics. When will you start paying interest? 45 days after disbursement. That is when the interest you start paying. But you start servicing the interest only while you're studying. Do you understand? Whilst you're studying, that is when you pay the interest. How many schools or application will my 138K cover? Yes, the first thing we'll do is to apply to 2 schools for you. But we will work with you till you get admission. Do you understand? So on most cases, from the 2 schools, at least you get a school that will give you admission. But if on worst case scenario, the 2 schools we apply to do not give you admission, we'll help you apply to another school. So we work with our candidates till they get admission. So do we have any questions? Do we have any question? I think somebody dropped the account details to make payment. So if you are ready to begin your process, you can engage with any of my teammates that has reached out to you or invited you to today's webinar session to begin your process. Yes, I'm ready to pay upfront. I'm getting my 50% discount because I attended webinar and I'm willing to pay upfront. Oh, I want to pay in installments. Please record my information that I'm paying in installments. Do you understand? Or I've been admitted. I want to apply for the loan immediately, and I've confirmed that you partner with my school. Then you just pay the 88,000 naira, and then if you are, I think Nana, you should be from Ghana. If you're from Ghana, you just pay the 900 cedis. You just pay the 900 cedis. Can I work while studying in US? Yes, everybody can work while studying. My colleague will drop the list of partner schools again for you to see. Say you've not seen the list of partner schools. She will drop it. Can I get a loan for masters in geoscience related courses? You just mentioned science. So we fund science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Do you understand? So we will be able to fund you. We'll be able to fund you. What if they ask for the proof of your advanced tuition payment at point of entry? Candidates are responsible for tuition fee deposit. We are not responsible for tuition fee deposit. Like we mentioned, we only disburse when you get to Canada or the United States. So candidates are responsible. So once you pay your tuition fee deposit, you will definitely have a receipt. Someone asked of West for Canada, but you didn't answer. I responded to the question. She asked for PGD. Does she require West and IELTS for PGD? I said no. Do you understand? If you have your own particular question as regards West, you can ask. If you're HND candidate, you want to do BSc top-up, you will require West evaluation for majority of the school. Does this loan cover for flight and accommodation? In Canada, in United States, it does, but it is reimbursed. Do you understand? Like I mentioned earlier, you do not get any amount here in your home country. You will only get access to that when you've resumed. Do you understand? So for flight tickets, it is usually reimbursed. Temitope Ojo, tuition fee deposit is covered by the candidate. When do we balance up? If we make payment of 88K today, you balance up in 3 weeks. You can balance up in 3 weeks. How much do I pay as interest per month? The interest rate is 12.99% per annum. For the exact amount you will pay, it depends on the amount that has been disbursed to you. Do you fund data analytics? As you've heard analytics like this, you know it's STEM. So anything that has to do with analytics, if you're listening, the guy that was asking for human resource management, I said we don't fund human resource management, but we fund analytics. So anything analytics, we will fund. So I think it's Ruth. We fund data analytics. We fund data analytics. We fund data analytics. How much do I pay as interest? I think I've answered that question. HND top-up, is it available for engineering? Yes. So Ruth, we fund data analytics. We fund any course that has to do with analytics. We will fund this tech. Do you understand? How much do I pay as interest? I think I've answered that question. I've answered that question. I would encourage you, especially if you're applying to, not even USA or Canada, technology management entrepreneurship. I guess that course is from what are they calling it? It's from Carleton. We will fund that course. Design, product design, we'll fund the design as long as it's a tech-enabled course. Especially if you have a 2-1, if you have, it is covered, but it's reimbursed. So you don't get the amount here. Travel expenses, you don't get the amount here. You can only get it when you've gotten there. Do you understand? Do we provide proof of fund for ourselves, either Canada or US? So US, you do not require proof of fund. Provide the proof of fund for everything. But for Canada, we'll only provide the proof of fund to the extent we are funding. That's the reason why you say you need proof of fund for your living expenses. You need proof of fund for your living expenses. So that's basically that for proof of fund. But US, like I mentioned, you do not need proof of fund. So what I was trying to say is, when you apply early, there is availability of funds, especially for courses that provide funding. There are some courses that you apply to, you'll be able to get scholarship just because you apply early. Yes, some of us might say, oh, I want to go for September next year. Do I start applying next year? No, I would encourage us to apply early. Do you understand? Get access to their available scholarships. When you get scholarships, it reduces the amount of liability you'll be taking up. Do you understand? It reduces the amount of liability you'll be taking up. Especially if you have first class, you have 2-1. It's very important. It reduces the amount of liability you'll be taking up when you get scholarship. So trust me, most of the schools that don't do on rolling basis, that they open for a period and they close, they opened since 1st of October. Some, we had an event where we met with different universities. I met with somebody from New Brunswick. I was discussing one of these courses. I think this technology management or so. They also have a program like that. He said they already have a wait list. That wait list, this was before October. The portal was to open October, but he said they already have a wait list. Do you understand? So you might be saying, let me chill till next year before I start my application. Whereas some persons, they've applied, those Indian guys, those Chinese guys, they've applied already. Do you understand? And then they've gotten access to the scholarships that are upfront already. So I encourage us to start our processing now. A friend of mine studied accounting but has been working. She wants to know if she can study building and construction. Realtor and building and construction, they are not the same now. They are not the same. Realtor, is it not somebody that helps to sell properties or something? The fact that you are selling does not mean you are building. There is an engineering behind building. I have 2 second-class toward division. Yes, you can. I'm not saying if you don't have 2-1, you can't apply. If you have 2-2, if you have this thing, you can still apply. Why do I need a loan if I would have to pay for my tuition fee deposit? I can always work while schooling to pay off my fee. That's also fine. If you're going to, if your tuition fee is $30,000 and then you're going to pay 500 tuition fee, $500 as tuition fee deposit, does it in any way compare to 29,500? If you believe you can also work while schooling to pay up your fees, is also fine, Stephanie. I have HND and intend to do PGD. Hope is fine. No, we do not fund PGD for HND graduates. We do not fund PGD for HND graduates. In most schools that you partner with in US, MBA is 48K, 4K will be used for a year. I don't think tuition fee is 46K for 1 year. And I'm not sure you have checked all our 400 partner schools. Abdullah, I'm not sure you have checked all our 400 partner schools. So, but if you have in any way checked all of our 400 partner schools, it's not 46K per annum. Whatever you see as tuition fee is for the program. It is hard for you to see unless you are going to applying to schools like Harvard or those Ivy League schools. There are other, apart from the Ivy League schools, there are other good schools that I know, very good schools. They are top tier schools, let me put it that way. Ivy League schools are just about 7 or 8, but they are top tier schools in the United States that this is not their tuition. So perhaps you can engage us. Let's make a good research for you. If you are not doing your research well, you engage us, we'll make a good research for you, we'll apply to schools. MBA care, no. I know there are expensive MBAs, but not all of the schools. I'm so sure that you've not checked 400 of our schools. Do you fund third-class graduates? Yes, we fund you to do a postgraduate diploma. We fund you to do a postgraduate diploma. If you have 3.35 over 5, 2.2, yes, you can get a master's conveniently in the United States. Just about 1 or 2 schools I know in Canada that can admit with work experience. If you have good work experience, confirm the account details. Wema Bank, yes, please. That is the account details to make payment. My colleague has also dropped it. If you are ready to make payment, that is the account details. From what level do HND graduates start from? 300 level. That's if you are going to Canada. If you have up to 10 years of work experience, if you have upper credit, you can apply for direct masters in the United States. What if I apply through you guys and I get fully funded scholarship? You still don't need the loan. Of course, we'll be happy. We'll clap for you, we'll rejoice for you. We've had candidates that have gotten that kind of scholarship. The only thing they needed the loan for was maybe a little bit of some money to just, get there, get settled. Do you understand? When they get there, the loan is disbursed to them just for them to settle down in, just a little living expenses they needed for. Do you understand? So if you get scholarship fully funded, we will be so excited for you. Upper credit. So how does HND upper credit benefit from the loan? Ruth, you can do a BSc top-up. You can, in Canada, you can apply for MSc in the United States. Please, my transcript and passport will be ready in 2 weeks. Can I still go ahead to pay? Yes, please. I think I mentioned that earlier. Maybe you didn't hear me. Your transcript, your passport, we will start the application. Do you understand? So that once your transcript is ready, we'll just upload and then submit. So you can go ahead. How do I get all your sponsor schools in USA? Canada. My colleague has dropped that. Do you accept 2 sittings NECO? We don't use NECO in our application. If you have a BSc already, your NECO is not needed. I have 30 years work experience, but I have 2. Which country do you qualify for? You can apply for the United States. You can apply to the United States. You have good work experience, so any of the countries are fine. How many years does the BSc top up? It's 2 years, but you will need a WES evaluation if you are doing BSc top up in Canada. You will need a WES evaluation. You will need a WES evaluation. Like I mentioned earlier, the best time to apply is now. Sincerely, I want to see how can I talk to academic counselor. Once you register, if you are paying upfront, if you are paying installment of maybe 88,000, you will engage with an academic counselor and then your process will start. So I really hope I'll be able to get people that say, oh, they maximize the early time and then they were able to get this scholarship from their school. Is PGD the same as BSc top-up? No, it is not the same. PGD is postgraduate diploma. Bachelor's is different. It's not the same. Will I need IELTS with WES? You will need WES. You don't really need IELTS. You can get schools that can waive that for you. You can get schools that can waive that for you, but for WES, you will require WES evaluation. You require WES evaluation. Do we have questions? Do we have questions? Oh, time is fast spent, but thank you, everyone. Despite the network glitch we had and all of that, thank you, everyone, for your patience, your time in listening, in hoping, you were able to learn a thing or two. One of the key takeaways I learned, or the 2 things I learned is, 1, your personal research as well, and 2, in your statement of purpose for visa, tell us about your life. Like, while Titi was speaking, I was already thinking a lot of things that could come into people's personal statement. So you can imagine she saying that her personal statement was 7 pages. That's really, really interesting. Do you understand? Tell them about your success. Tell them about even the ones you made maybe mistakes and all of. Just tell every meaningful thing. So meaningful things in your statement of purpose. Tell them your life history. WES is a form of evaluation that they do to your, the name of the company that does this evaluation is called WES. Do you understand? They will grade your OND and HND to compare to the Canadian standard of undergraduate. Do you understand? Or it's just a way of grading your qualifications to global standard. Do you understand? So, especially in Canada, they see HND, OND as this person has gone to high school, this person has gone to, they do not see it as post-secondary school, really. They do not regard it as post-secondary school unless you do that WES to show them. That's the reason why. What's the guarantee that will get the loan? As long as you have a good credit report. That's very important. Having a good credit report means that it's either you do not take a loan, you do not have a loan, or you have a loan and you are paying back. Do you understand? You have a loan and you are paying back. Can HND graduates also apply for MSc? Yes. If you have upper credit, you have 10 years work experience, you have good grade. We've seen people with less than 10 years, but they have, upper credit, they have distinction, they can apply for what are they calling it? You can apply for MSc, but it's in the US, not in Canada. Yes, thank you, Ruth. World Education Service. So it's a company that helps to evaluate your results. The company that helps to evaluate your results. Which school in Canada? That will be done by the academic counselors. They are the ones that have like in-depth knowledge in each different particular schools. Do you understand? But you engage them, they would give you the best advice based on your grade, based on your degree and all of that. Assessing the list of supported schools through the links shared is not straightforward. So Johnson, what I would advise, if you are using your phone, change it to desktop view. Change your phone, go to the settings and change it to desktop view. It will be easier that way. The screen, the list is not mobile responsive. So I would just encourage you to change it to desktop view. You'll be able to access it. My colleague has dropped it. She has dropped the link. You're on desktop. Then it's not supposed to be difficult. Go to the last part of the just go towards the edge of your screen, scroll down. You will be able to. Is the PGD for third class holders in Canada or US? It's Canada. It's Canada. It's PGD is for Canada. PGD is for Canada. So I guess we can end the session in 2 minutes. If you have questions, please drop your questions. Please drop your questions. Okay, yeah. Is it in Ontario, Atlantis? Jennifer, I do not get this question. What do you mean by is it? Okay, it's the school. Yes, it's in Ontario. Please, what is the interest? The interest rate is 12.99% per annum for postgraduate and 13.99% per annum for undergraduate. Yes, you can reach out to any of my team members that you've been engaging. We'll share the list of schools with you as well if you want that. I mean a weave interest payback per month as a student. I do not get. The interest is based on the amount that is disbursed to you. So if you for the first time you are taking like $10,000, do you understand? So what you'll be paying for 1 year will be 1,299. So that 1,299 will be divided by 12. That's about 101 or 110 dollars monthly. Yes, I think I've explained that. Yes, Mr. Chukuma Michael is my colleague. He's my colleague. For BSc top up, the interest rate is 13.99% per annum. 13.99% per annum. Okay, guys, I think we've tried for today. Some of us have been connected since 5:30. Some of us joined at 6 p.m. Is it for the admission? The admission, we work with all of our candidates till they get admission. So I think we can call it a day. You can reach out to, once you're ready to begin your processing, you can reach out to any of my team members that you've been engaging with. Do you understand? For loans, you get the loans. It's the easiest part. As long as you don't have the bad credit, you get the loan. The loan is not the issue at all. So guys, thank you very much for joining today's session. I hope, you were able to get clarity. I hope you were able to, you are quite informed from the experience of the two persons that we invited today. And I hope you're going to begin your journey. The journey to 1,000 miles begin with a step. So I'd encourage us to take that first step and begin. We do not charge after the whole process. We charge our fees upfront. So after the whole process, there is no kickback fee. There is no fees after the process. Do you understand? We do not charge you anything after the process. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I'm officially closing the session. You can leave if you have no further questions, but if you have further questions, you can also, you can still drop them. I'll still be on the background to answer the questions. Have a great night, everyone. Yes, thank you so much, Ogunyemi.
We're 1,000 miles from comfort. We have traveled land and sea. But as long as you are with me, there's no place I'd rather be. I would away forever, exalted in the sea. As long as I am with you, my heart continues to beat. With every step we take, Kyoto to the bay, strolling so casually. We're different and the same, gave you another name, switch up the batteries. If you gave me a chance, I would take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it. No, with a little heart, you can't shame me. When I am with you, there's no place I'd rather be. No, no place I'd rather be. No, no place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. We set out on a mission to find our inner peace, make it everlasting, so nothing's incomplete. It's easy being with you, sacred simplicity. As long as we're together, there's no place I'd rather be. With every step we take, Kyoto to the bay, strolling so casually. We're different and the same, gave you another name, switch up the batteries. If you gave me a chance, I would take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it. No, with a little heart, you can't shame me. When I am with you, there's no place I'd rather be. No, no place I'd rather be. No, no place I'd rather be. No, no place I'd rather be. When I am with you, there's no place I'd rather be. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. You gave me a chance, I will take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it. No, with a little heart, you can't shame me. When I am with you, there's no place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. I'd rather be. Times that I've seen you lose your way, you're not in control, and you won't be told. All I can do to keep you safe is hold you close till you can breathe on your own. Till you can breathe on your own. Hold tight, you're slowly coming back to life. I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, darling. Let go of all your haunted dreams tonight. I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, darling. I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell. Everyone keeps a darker place to lose control. You're not alone. And when you come looking for embrace, I know your soul. I'll be your home till you can breathe on your own. Till you can breathe on your own. Hold tight, you're slowly coming back to life. I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, darling. Let go of all your haunted dreams tonight. I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, darling. I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell, I've been giving you hell.
No, I said it's true. I can feel the love. Can you feel it too? I can feel it. I can feel it. You know I said it's true. I can feel the love. Can you feel it too? I can feel it. I can feel it. Yeah. You know I said it's true. I can feel the love. Can you feel it too? I can feel it. I can feel it. You know I said it's true. I can feel the love. Can you feel it too? I can feel it. I can feel it. You know I said it's true. You know I said. You know I said it's true. You know I said. Gotta tell you, gotta tell you, gotta tell